All right. Are we live? Yes, we are live. Unbelievable. Thank you so much. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube at the same time. We are continuing our learning, um, influencer mindset. We are learning how to become better influencers by connecting to the light of the Creator, by connecting to the true essence of who we are, to our godly soul, and try and influence, not try, but influence the world from there, from the godly soul. So, just to recap a little bit about what we spoke before, we were talking about um, how you know action is so important. Without action, we can't really do anything. I mean, yeah, we need to learn. Learning is very important. The Alter Rebbe is talking about when we learn our the garments of our godly souls, our thoughts, speech, and action are starting to awaken. But learning only gives us the garments of thoughts and speech. The garments are made out of three parts: thought, speech, and action. So we learn spirituality, we learn how amazing the Creator is, about the oneness of creation, about doing the good deeds that we need to do, uh, that are uh, that are given to us through the manual of life, the manual of the soul, which is the Bible, the Old Testament, which were translated to many other languages, but the original the original testament was written in Hebrew, which is a code language uh, to connect with the infinite being, the creator. And also, we know that the whole world was pretty much created by those letters. Those letters are literally making everything exist. We also spoke about how the creator is creating the world every second. It wasn't like something that was done thousands of years ago and now there is no intervention, God forbid. God is like literally creating us at this moment, at every moment. We also spoke about how the Creator is the only one, the only reality that exists, and and we are part of it. So now, and now we also just to continue in our subject because it's really getting deep from here. And as people who really want to be better influencers, we know that we are all influencers. We want it or not, we have an impact on the world. But we want to take that impact to a whole other level. We want to bring true change in ourselves and in the world. And we can do that by really learning the mechanism of how our soul operates. What stands in the way of us being the best version of ourselves? What is the obstacles we need to overcome? How do we overcome them? And there is information here that it's really used to be concealed for thousands of years. People did not speak about this because the world wasn't ready. The world wasn't ready. But now, in our times, in our days, thanks to social media, thanks to technology, um, we are ready. We are ready more than ever. Especially now, like you can see that AI, artificial intelligence, is taking over the world. Literally, I just heard that Google is like embedding artificial intelligence in everything now, even in Gmail. Everything is going to be um, or working through that artificial intelligence. So far, it's been very helpful, but also it's a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary. But anyways, let's go back to the subject of what we need to do as human beings. We were created for a reason. We were created to do a specific mission. Each and every one of us has a specific, beautiful mission to do in the world that only us can do that mission. So we're going to continue learning uh, about the idea that why taking action is so important. Like they say, actions speak louder than word, which is the title of the video. But why is that? Why is that? And also, the Alter Rebbe wants to explain to us that if you remember in the last live stream, we spoke about how the animal soul is the average between the godly soul and the body, right? But it's very important for the Alter Rebbe to explain what it means. It means that when the godly soul operates in the body, it could operates the body to do a specific deed, a specific good deed, only through the the animal soul that it's included in the physical blood. But we need to understand this because he wants us to know that it has nothing to do that the animal soul is like the average in a sense of the connection of the soul with the body, because just the essence of the connection of the soul, the godly soul and the animal soul with the body, comes through a special force that he calls it a wonder. It's like almost a wonder, an unnatural, almost magic. It's almost magic that it's happened. So it's not like that the animal soul actually doing it. There is something, there is a special force. It's in Hebrew it says koach hamafli la'asot, which means it's a source that literally like works like magic, pretty much, an unnatural way. And this is not happening because of the animal soul. The animal soul is physical. So, but in its spirituality of the animal soul, it could include itself in spirituality and the steam that comes up from the blood. But it's getting really deep. I don't want to get so deep into here because our purpose is really to give it a good fight, which means to make sure that we operate and we influence the world with our godly soul. This is the purpose of this. We don't want to get too deep. I mean, if you are listening to this and you want to learn a lot more, there is a lot more you can learn. You can send me a message and I can direct you to the sources of all of this, and you can go even deeper and deeper into learning. But right now, we want to the Alter Rebbe wants us to understand that the godly soul does the good deed by using the animal soul, and that's why the animal soul is also included in the good deed, which means that through doing one good deed, the divine presence is residing in the whole body of the human being. And he says that the animal soul, which means all the bad attributes, it's still not completely turned into purity and holiness. It's still in a state of, work that needs to be done. But he's saying that the garments and the powers and the strength of the animal soul when the animal soul is taken apart in doing a good deed through the influence of the godly soul, the animal soul is also gets included in uh, um, in the uh, um, holiness of that good deed. And what happened? The bad attributes are surrendering to the good attributes. And pretty much the animal soul becomes ruled by the godly soul. And because it's ruled by the godly soul, it's also included in godliness, and it turns into godliness. Um, so so when the godly soul looks in the greatness of the Creator, in a sense of exile and sleep, which means, what does it mean, exile and sleep? It means that they're like sleeping and they are in exile, because the godly soul is like sleeping and it's in exile when it's not really residing on the human body. And and there is nothing that really prevents the divine presence to stay on the human body. So so for example, he says that, when you do a good deed, for example, you take $1 and you give it to somebody as a donation, right? At that moment, your whole body is getting including in the light of the Creator, and it becomes one with it completely. And this is really amazing, because you understand how important that is, to do good deeds with your body. And then he talks about also the idea that for example, when there is a group of people, he talks even about, like, for here, 10 people. When 10 people come together, there is a certain divine presence that come and joins them. Okay, there is um, a way that the divine presence comes in different levels. So when a person does a good deed, there is a level of a divine presence that comes and stays on him. And when there is 10 people, there is a level of a divine presence. When there is 100, there is more, and 1,000 and 10,000. The more people are coming together with the right consciousness, the divine presence, the divine presence is greater. Um, but it's very important. It's very important for the Alter Rebbe to explain also that the Creator doesn't change, which means that the Creator, it's not like, now, I did a good deed, the Creator changed and he's coming to reside within me. That's not what's happened. Or there is a gathering of a lot of people and now there is a greater divine presence. That's not the case. The case is, and it's very important to understand, that the light of the infinite light has absolutely no change in it. The only change that there is the change in the created being, which means we are changing. When we do a good deed, what happens? Something expands in us and lets the light flow into us. But the light doesn't change. The light wants to flow into us at all time. But if we don't engage in godliness, or if we don't work on ourselves and understand the greatness of the Creator and try to influence the world in a positive way, our vessel is, our capacity to receive that light is not as great. So to expand that capacity, we do good deeds, and then the our ability to receive that light grows, and the light is able to enter. And it's very important to understand that the Creator never changes, never changes. Um, he is always the same. And he wants us to understand. He gives us few parables here to understand what it means that the creator never changes. It means that, I mean, look at the sun. When the sun is shining, what happens? It goes into many different windows. The sun just goes into many different windows, right, at the same time. It doesn't mean that there is different lights for each window. It's just one big light that just goes into the windows, right, into all those windows. So it's around the same concept. And also, for example, if the light of the sun shines through a glass that has, like, let's say, a red glass, and now the light that comes through the glass is red, it doesn't mean that the light is changing its color. It's just that there is something that makes the light looks red. So he wants us to understand that the creator doesn't change, just like the light of the sun doesn't change. And also, he also gives another parable here. For example, if you take a cup of water and you put it in a let's say a blue glass cup, right, or plastic cup, that has a red color or blue color, and you look at the water through that plastic, it looks like the water blue or red. But if you take the water back out of the cup, the water stays the same. And it's the same thing with the light of the creator. It doesn't change, and it doesn't extend itself. It's just the same. Okay, it doesn't. For example, when we do good deeds, it's not like the light now becomes more. The light is the same. We are changing. We are enabling more light to get in, and that's a very important thing to understand. And it's really, really, really all about doing. It's all about doing, taking an action, taking the action. Because the bottom line is that the creator wants, I mean, obviously we want to ask, what is the essence of all of this? Why does the creator wants us do, to do, to overcome the evil inclination, to overcome the animal soul and the desire to receive for yourself alone? Why does he want us to do that? What's the whole idea? What's the whole concept of making the light of the creator come and resides? And what makes the action the essence of everything? And the Alter Rebbe explains that this whole thing happening because, again, the creator wanted to come and resides here in the lower worlds. Because this world that we are living there is four worlds, okay? And again, this is deep. I don't want to get into it so much, but this is the lowest world that we are living. It's the physical world. There is spiritual worlds. After this physical world, there is three other worlds that are on top of it. A world in Hebrew, it means olam, which means from the same verb as disappears, not really there. Or it's like olam, it's like some kind of an illusion. And it talks about that this world that we are living in, this physical world, is the lowest world, because here there is darkness that is really, triple and quadruple. And the whole point is to turn the darkness into light. That, the light of the infinite light wants to come and to turn this darkness into light. And that's why the essence of everything is action. Because only through action you can turn darkness into light. So when you, for example, give donation with your hand, or you punching, you take your phone and you Venmo somebody, or you doing any other good deeds, praying, praying for a friend, helping somebody. There is so many things that we can do. I mean, like I said before, there is 613 good deeds that are listed in the Torah, in the Hebrew Old Testament. And the Jewish people need to do all of them. And they said that if you're not born Jewish, you don't really have to do all of them. But if you look at the Ten Commandments, the Ten Commandments pretty much includes all of them. It includes all of them in a very simple way to understand for everybody. It doesn't matter you're Jewish, you're not Jewish, because when the Torah was given, when Mount Sinai was given in 70 languages, it was given to all nations. Okay, but we need to understand that the essence is in the action, because this is how the whole idea of the creator residing in our world is happening. It's happening because through the action we expand the vessel, we take darkness, we turn it into light, and then the light comes in and then resides. And that's what the whole purpose of creation. That's why he created the world to begin with, because he wanted us to be able to overcome darkness and to turn darkness into light through our actions. I mean, obviously, remember, there's thought, speech, and actions, which are the garment of the godly soul. So learning is important. Like even now, you're sitting here, you're listening to this. This is very important. Like me, I'm sitting here, I'm doing this. I haven't done this my whole life. I mean, I should have done it. I shouldn't have. I'm not talking about what I should have done and what I shouldn't be doing, but I'm doing it, and you're here listening to this, and we are doing it. We are turning darkness into light right now, at this moment, and that's the purpose of creation. This was the whole idea. We are learning about this, and again, and by doing that, it's the whole idea of God wanting to make an apartment in the lower worlds, that He wants to reside in the body, and through the light of the Creator residing in us, in our bodies, He resides in the whole world. In the whole world, and it lights up the infinite light of the Creator. So we know also that, again, the essence of the creation of this world was the idea that the light of the Creator, the infinite light of the Creator, wants to come and resides here. And again, he keeps on explaining, what does it mean, apartment in the lower worlds, in this world? It means, to make it easier, he gives a little bit more explanation from our sages that explain that for the Creator, there is no difference between the lower worlds and the upper worlds. Everything for him considered pretty much the same. But this is all about the idea of, for example, of concealing the light to protect the created beings. It's a form of a conduit, because if you would not have that lower worlds that reduces the influence of the light, then it will literally burn us. So he created all kinds of like barriers and worlds that comes from up to down, and there is levels, and there is upper levels and lower levels and lower levels, until it comes to this lower level, to our world. But the Creator is just like He's in the lower levels, He's in the upper levels. But the only difference is that in the lower levels, we have to bring the light of the Creator in through our good thought, speech, and actions. This is something that we need to do. Um, this is something that he wanted us to do, and he wanted us to understand it, to get it, and that's why, you know, the idea is that also, a lot of people think about the creator, that it's really, there is no, you know, scientific evidence and stuff like that, but there's no scientific evidence to many things, even though there is everything that was written back then was discovered later as true. Um, but the idea is that it's things that we can feel with our emotions. So let me see where we are as far as the time goes. Okay, so we are 25 minutes in. It's so important. It's so interesting, and I really want to continue a little bit more. Let's just continue a little bit more. Okay, so after creating the world, after again, we need to understand that the creator doesn't change. Even when he created these lower worlds and he created all the other worlds to protect the lower worlds, he himself never changed. Never changed. The only change is in the created beings. And the created beings are receiving the energy, the life energy from the creator. And there is many, many things that are hiding the light of the creator, because if there wouldn't be all those garments and all those barriers, uh, we would not be able to receive the life energy without them. Even says that even angels could not. There is even barriers for angels. So there is angels that are in lower worlds, in upper worlds. Um, and again, I don't want to get too deep here with the angel stuff, but whatever. But we need to understand that the light of the Creator never changed, and it's a really powerful light, and it's very intense. And there has to be some kind of a hidden. He had to hidden the light. I think the main idea was to protect us, because you when I mean, look at the sun. If something, even if you look at the sun, even from this world, from our planet, you look at the sun, you can burn your eyes, literally burn them. That's why you should never look directly at the sun. So imagine the light of the creator. If there wouldn't be any barriers and worlds, and also the 10 illuminations that are kind of separating this world and that world, um, we would not really be able to receive the world. We would be it would like cancel everything in a second. So all those garments and all those things that are making the light of the creator hide, they are enabling us to receive that light, pretty much. Because this is how we receive the light. We receive the light through all the hiddens and all those secrets and all those way that the light kind of penetrates into the world, in a very specific way. So it's the whole concept of the way the world was created, how it was created through going from the upper level to down level, and then building the world from one world to another, and then hidden creating those barriers and creating those shells and the hidden things that will not hurt the created beings down here. So all the created beings needs to do down here, this is the darkest place. All we have to really do is to work on ourselves, thought, speech, and actions, and to take positive actions that expands our vessel and expands our ability to receive more light from the Creator. Because, like I said before, He never changes. We are the ones who are changing. And we need to expand ourselves and expand our vessel. And And if you remember, we spoke about the whole idea of the animal soul and the desire to receive for the self alone and the ego. All of these things was created. These are the barriers. These are the barriers that were created in this world that we need to overcome in order for our vessel to be able to contain the light. Because if the world would have been created without those barriers, the world wouldn't be able to exist. So they have a very important part that we need to turn darkness into light in this lower world where it's very dark. It's the darkest of the darkest, and we really truly uh, need to turn this darkness into light. And that's the whole idea. The whole idea, and is the whole essence of creation, turning darkness into light. And we all do that. We all do that. It doesn't matter if you're religious or not religious, or we all, sometimes even with a good thought, with a smile, we project light, we turn darkness into light. Because the world, like I said, is from the same, in Hebrew, it's olam, from the same word as ha'elem, which means disappears, doesn't exist. We can't see it, hidden. And we can't see godliness here. We can't see godliness. It's very, very, very hard to really see godliness. We really have to do a lot of work on ourselves. And when we start to do that, when we start to think like that, for example, I see a lot of influencers talking about kindness. For example, one of the, Gary V talks about kindness a lot. This is one of his things. Kindness is connecting to the creator because he is kind. I mean, think about it. He's giving us air to breathe, uh, our heartbeats, our everything, our ability to drink, to eat, to enjoy. So the creator is kind to us. So when we become kind, we become like the creator. And it's a very powerful thing. And I think it's part of the reason why you see a lot of influencers, becoming big, because that's what God wants. He wants them to make people more kind, because kindness, what kindness do? It expands the vessel. It allows more revelation of the infinite light of the creator in this dark world. It turns darkness into light, which is very, very important thing. I mean, that's the purpose of creation. And it's just really, really incredible. It's just really incredible when you think about it this way. It just makes everything so exciting, because we are like a created being, that like a light warriors. We are here to turn darkness into light. How great is that? How wonderful is that? We should really understand it and connect to it and just be so happy that this is our job. This is what we need to do. It's the best thing in the world. The best thing in the world. And really, I mean, this whole mechanism, this whole thing, it was just genius. It was just genius. It's genius because, I mean, think about it. You create a world that you want to be, residing in that world, but you don't want to just, for God to reside in us. It's a big blessing. It's a huge blessing. It makes us, so connected and so happy, and that's what everybody really wants. As humans, we want the same things. So that's all. That's all. We really have to do that. And we really have to understand that, the ego, the evil inclination, the desire to receive for yourself alone, in its essence, it's not a bad thing. In its essence, it's not a bad thing. The only bad thing is that people don't get it, that they need to overcome it. People, like, they don't even acknowledge it, and that's the bad thing. But when people start to acknowledge it and start to like give it a fight and expands their vessel and let the creator come in and do the purpose of creation, which is the essence of everything, then it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And then the Alter Rebbe continues, but I'm going to stop right here. Um, if you enjoyed this broadcast, please share, like, subscribe, and I'm really looking forward to see you at the next broadcast. Thank you so much for listening.